Amen. How many of you are fans of award shows? You like to watch the Oscars and you watch the Grammys, and because we all black in here, we watch the NAACP Image Awards. How many any awards show people? Y'all like, nah, Pastor Mike, we off that. I got one. Wait, I'm gonna talk to you today then. But there's a common theme. I know even though some of you may not watch them consistently, there is a common theme that I'm sure you've noticed if you've ever watched one before. Whenever an entertainer, whenever an actor, an athlete, whosoever wins an award, there's this pattern that they follow. That they come and they grab their trophy, and most of them start off, I want to thank God. Without him, none of this would be possible. And without fail, very rarely have I seen them kind of stray away from this script. After they thank God, they say, and I want to thank my mom. Yes. I want to thank my mom because, and then they'll go down this long list of reasons why they want to thank their mama. And I sat and wondered, why is it that right after God, everybody wants to thank their mama for success? Don't get me wrong, none of us can be successful without God. And as a man, you know, I'd like to think that we daddies have something to do with your success. But right after God, you skip the head of the household and you go to the mama. I want to thank my mom. I would not be here without my mama. I began to ponder on that thing. I began to ask God, what is it about a mother that we attribute our success to them? Because as we look at the text, if King Solomon was to give an acceptance speech for his throne, I believe his would start the same way. I got to give honor to God, because without him, none of this would be possible. And this crown that y'all see on my head, I got to thank my mama. Yeah. So if I were to give today's sermon a title, it would be, I want to thank my mama. I want to thank my mama. I believe that the one thing that Solomon has in common with all these athletes, these entertainers, these people that we recognize through awards and ceremonies, is that they have their mom to thank for their success. And I can say without any hesitation that as I stand before you, as I've done all of the amazing things that I've done, as I accomplished all the great things I've accomplished, as a result of all the awards that I've received over my lifetime, if I got to thank somebody right after God, I would have to thank my mama. So I want to give you 3 reasons we thank good mothers for our success. Now I want you to notice, I didn't just say mothers, I said good mothers. I hate to be that guy, but not everybody has a good mother. And so I want to share with you 3 reasons we thank good mothers for our success. The first reason, I'm going to give you 3 R's today. The first reason I believe that we can thank a good mother for our success is because a good mother reprioritizes for us. I'm going to say that again because I should have got way more amens. Because a good mother reprioritizes for us. Now maybe that word reprioritizes is too big of a word, and y'all are struggling to really get a grasp of what I mean when I say a good mother reprioritizes. Can we take a look at Bathsheba? Bathsheba is a very interesting figure. We love David. Most of us love David. We love the Psalms. We love everything that David stood for. David is an underdog, and most of us feel like underdogs in our lives. And so we love the story of David. But David didn't always do everything right. In fact, David finds himself in this situation with Bathsheba because instead of him being where he was supposed to be, he was on his roof looking at something he shouldn't have been looking at. Bathsheba finds herself as a mother for the following reasons. If you go back to 2 Samuel chapter 11, Bathsheba is sexually assaulted by David. Now I know y'all like, Pastor Mike, that's some strong language, but if you look in the Bible and you look at how this took place, David sees her. He invades her privacy. She's on her roof bathing. And he pulls a whole peeping Tom. And he doesn't stop at peeping. He abuses his power. He says, boys, that's a bad mamma jamma. Go get her and bring her to me. His men go, they retrieve this woman against her will, bring her to the king, and the king lays with her. She's sexually assaulted by David. If that's not enough, she becomes impregnated by the man who assaulted her. Now she's carrying the child of the man who raped her. That wasn't bad enough. David, in an attempt to cover his mess, calls her husband back to the scene and tries his best to get him to sleep with her because he needs him to think this is his baby. And he finds out that this is one of his most loyal soldiers, because instead of going back to his house after leaving war, he says, I refuse to go back home while the other soldiers are still fighting. And he lays right outside of the king's gates. When David finally figures out that this man just will not go along with the plan, that his mess is going to be exposed, he does whatever he has to do. Not only is Bathsheba sexually assaulted by David, not only is she also impregnated by the man who assaulted her, but the man who assaulted her and has impregnated her now kills the man she loves. Text lets us know in chapter 11 that he sends this loyal servant, loyal soldier to the hottest part of the battle. And when he gets there, he tells the men to retreat, that he'd be struck down by the enemy. That's 2 Samuel chapter 11. The story continues in 2 Samuel chapter 12, where this woman who's been sexually assaulted by David, this woman who's impregnated by the man who assaulted her, and this woman who's had her husband killed by the man that's assaulted her, she becomes pregnant. Not only does she become pregnant, she gives birth to a son. And we read the sad tale in chapter 12 that this child that she gives birth to by the man who assaulted her gets struck down by God to punish the man who assaulted her. She has nothing to do with this, but she loses the baby she gave birth to. That's not bad enough. David lays with her again, and she gets pregnant, and she sees this one all the way through. These are the circumstances that she becomes Solomon's mother. That's very telling to me. And I'm sorry, someone's phone is really close to the speaker. You can move that for me. That's very telling to me, because what that says is that Bathsheba did not allow bad moments to make her a bad mama. Bathsheba makes a decision in that moment, and it's sad to say, but it's a decision that so many mothers have to make, that I have to let go of the woman I could have been so I can become the mother this child needs. I often reflect on Bathsheba, and I wonder what would her life have been like had she not had to be Solomon's mother. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, women's choices were very limited during that time anyway, but I'm confident that Bathsheba had dreams, that she had goals, that she had things that she wanted to accomplish. She had things that she wanted to do. She had a man that she loved. She wanted to give him children, and it's stripped away from her. She doesn't even get a moment to grieve. And it's under these circumstances that she has to become Solomon's mother. She begins to reprioritize. She says, listen, I need some counseling right now, but this baby needs me more. I need some reconciliation right now, but this baby needs me more. I need some rest. I need some relief from my pain. I need some time to mourn over the dreams, goals, and aspirations that I had that were stripped from me. I need these things, but this baby needs me a little more than I need it, which brings me to my first thought. A good mother will sacrifice the life she desires to secure the life her child deserves. I'm going to say that again. A good mother will sacrifice the life she desires to secure the life her child deserves. Just by show of hands, how many of you mothers had dreams and goals for when you grew up? Y'all know we used to get that question when we grew up. What do you want to be when you grow up? And we would say things like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a CEO. I want to be president. I want to be a scientist. Whatever your thing was, motherhood has a way of rearranging those things. And don't get me wrong, it's not to suggest that you can't be a mother and explore your dreams, goals, and aspirations, but I don't know about you, most of you can testify that when your child came into the world, you pushed some things to the back burner. There were some things you still wanted to do, but you could not do them because there was a child that was depending on you. There were some things you still wanted to explore, but this child needed more of your time. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, and this is no shade to nobody, but I don't know how that young mother, God bless her, still finds time to make it to the club when there's a child at home that needs her attention. I don't see how some of these mothers can turn up on the weekend smoking, drinking, sipping, all kinds of stuff when there's a baby at home. Don't get me wrong. I know it wasn't fair that you had to grow up quicker than you should have grown up, but there's a baby that needs you. And the difference between a good mother and just a mother is a good mother says, I know this ain't fair. I know this ain't what I wanted. I know this is not what I planned. Watch this. I didn't plan for him, but I'm going to make plans for him. This may not have been what I thought my life was going to be like, but I'm not going to impose what my life should have been on my child. I'm not going to make them pay for the things I didn't get to experience. I'm not going to make them suffer for the things I still want to do. And I'm so glad that I had a mother who, when things turned another way, when she found out that I came into the world, because I wasn't quite on her agenda, but when I came in the world, she put me first and put her second. I'm so glad that there are some accomplishments my mother did not reach, but she did everything to make sure I reached them. I'm so glad there are places my mother has never gone, but she did what she could to make sure my feet stepped in those places. I'm so glad that there are things my mother did not know, but she did everything to make sure I knew them. I'm so glad that there are experiences that my mother never got to experience, but she did all she could do to make sure I experienced them, because when I came into the world, she reprioritized her life.
Yes. Amen.
I thank my mama for my success because before anybody else did, she put me first. And that's what happens with Bathsheba and Solomon. Life is not fair. Life does not go the way she thinks life should have gone. Her dreams, goals, aspirations have been stripped for her, but she still decides that my baby is going to reach his dreams. My baby is still going to reach his goals. My baby is still going to get his aspirations. I may never see it, but I'm going to make sure he does.
Yes.
And so we celebrate mothers today because mothers are the first ones to put us first. And the irony is they put us first at their expense.
Yes.
Now, that's when he's a baby. And the next time we hear about Bathsheba is in 1 Kings. 1 Kings, ironically, verses 11 and 12. So we see her first in chapters 11 and 12 of 2 Samuel, but then we find her again in verses 11 and 12 of 1 Kings, which reads, Then Nathan, said to Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, have you not heard that Adonijah, son of Haggith, has become king, and our Lord David does not know it? Now please come and let me advise you, save your life and the life of your son. Solomon is now a man. Now I need you to catch this. The first time we meet Bathsheba is a young woman and Solomon is a baby. The next time we see her, she's a woman and he's a grown man. And even though Solomon is a grown man, Bathsheba is still looking out for his best interest. Don't miss this. Solomon is no longer a baby. Solomon is a grown man. But at the forefront of this mother's mind is, I need to protect my son. That's amazing to me. That is truly mind-blowing, and it brings me to my next thought. A mother never stops carrying her children. She may no longer carry them in her womb, but she will always carry them in her world. Bathsheba has raised Solomon to be a man. And the moment Solomon gets in trouble, the first thing on her mind is not, what is he going to do about it? The first thing on her mind is, what am I going to do about it? I never understood why my mom was always up in my business. I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. Lord, she want to know where I'm at. She want to know what I'm doing. She want to know who there with me. She want to know who gonna show up later. She want to know who bringing me back home. She want to know, and again, that's okay. I get it. You know why I'm under your roof. But then I became a man, and it was still like, where you at? What you doing? Who you with? And I'm like, why is this woman always in my business? But I get it. I get it. Though she no longer carries me in her womb, she still carries me in her world. And I'm so glad that my mama didn't stop carrying me when I came out of her womb. Because there were some moments in my life where I did things I shouldn't have did, but because she still carried me in her world, she made sure I was all right. I'm so glad that she never stopped carrying me because I got myself in situations I should have never been in, but because she still carried me, I made my way out. I celebrate Mom for my success because I truly would not be here without her because I'm only here today because she carried me. Now, I did a little research. I like for y'all to learn more than just the word. And so some of you women might know what I'm about to share, but I'm going to enlighten some of us brothers. This is why Mama is still in my business, even though I'm 34. So I did some study on the female anatomy, and I discovered that the female anatomy, of course, you all are built different, but you're built different for a purpose. See, a man is built to provide and protect. That's why we have more muscle. I know there are some women that say, I can get more muscle than a man. God bless you, that's cool. But by natural design, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. That's not your purpose. We were built to provide and protect. And that's why things come naturally. Again, a woman can do these things. She can get muscles as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger, but she has to get enhancements. She got to get some help because that doesn't come natural to her. But women were built to produce. You're wired to produce. Now, I'm going to make sense of this thing. Again, I did some study of the female body. So by the time you all hit puberty, your body stops working for you and starts working for who's to come. Wow. Your body literally starts changing in a way that it's preparing itself to no longer service you, but to service someone else. I thought about that thing, and it started to make sense. The reason our mamas are all in our business, I'm going to help all us get delivered this morning, even though you're 55, is because from the time she was just barely a child, her body has been programming her to carry you. I'm going to tell you how deep it gets. Not only does it begin to change by the estrogen that's released to create eggs and etc., but once a woman does actually get pregnant, it's a whole nother ballgame. Watch this. Your bones literally begin to adjust. Not to support you. It's been supporting you all this time. Your whole bone structure begins to change to accommodate a child. Wow. Your entire frame, your foundation of the body literally begins to expand and readjust and do things that it would never do, not for you, but for who's coming. Not only that, but your breasts, hate to be that guy, but your breasts go from just being something that, men find pleasurable to producing milk. Not for you, but for who's to come. They begin to grow, they begin to enlarge, they begin to get tender because they're preparing themselves for the latch of a child. The stomach area, that abdomen, God bless y'all, begins to expand. No matter how much you go to the gym, you just can't make it go away. Because your body says, bump you, somebody's coming. Everything in your body is programming you, is telling you, is wiring you that you're designed to carry someone else. And so just because you're no longer carrying that thing anymore, your brain has literally reprogrammed you that even though he's 55 and is running a whole business, he still better call his mama when he get off work.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can make it plain. See if I can make it plain. My check engine light just came on. Don't judge Pastor Mike, I'm busy. I'm gonna get it taken care of. My check engine light came on. I didn't pull my car over. I just kept driving. I'm gonna tell you why I kept driving. Because my car would allow me to keep driving. Even though the check engine light is on, I can still drive it. That's because a car was designed to carry. Everything about a car, the engineers, as they're looking at the car, they're not thinking about the car, they're thinking about who's going to be in the car. And so they design the seats in a way that is comfortable for the one who has to drive. They design the amenities so that they will be useful and beneficial to the person that's driving. Everything about a car is designed with someone else in mind. Not the car, but someone else in mind. I realize that moms are a lot like cars. That God designed them with us in mind. Barbara J. Goodman, I ain't gonna say that middle initial, we're gonna get in trouble, but Barbara J. Goodman was designed with me in mind. Here's the danger though. Here's the danger. She carried me when it was difficult. She carried me when things hurt. She carried me when things were malfunctioning. She carried me when things were breaking down. She carried me. And watch this. My car didn't make any noise. It's just giving a sign. Mothers are a lot like cars. They might not make noise. But if you're paying attention, they're showing signs. And why I bless mothers is because when I ignored the signs, she still carried me where I needed to go. I thank Mama for success because even though she wasn't making noise, I know there were times when things were malfunctioning, but at the forefront of her mind was, I got to get my baby where he needs to go. I know there were times she didn't feel like it, but the only thing on her mind was, I got to get my baby where he needs to go. There were times when she was literally breaking down. And me, in my ungratefulness, saw the signs. But all I was concerned about was, Mama, can you get me where I need to go? Here's the danger. I've discovered with the death of my last car, this is why I need to do something ASAP, that by the time your car starts making noise, it's too late. And the tragedy today, and I warn those of us who still have our mothers, don't let them start making noise. Because by the time Mama starts making noise, it may be too late. And there's some folks watching today that ignored the signs because Mama was still getting them where they needed to go. Because Mama was designed to carry them. We get so consumed with where we're trying to go that we don't recognize the cost. And so Mother's Day is maintenance. But the same way I can't take my car to be maintained once a year, I have to have scheduled appointments throughout the year to keep my car running. We got to have scheduled appointments to keep Mama running, y'all. Because again, by the time Mama starts making noise, if we're not careful, it may be too late. We thank Mama for success because Mama reprioritized everything. Mama said, I don't care if my check engine light is on, if my baby's check engine light is on. I don't care if my tires don't have pressure, if my baby's tires don't have pressure. I've been blessed. As my mom has been recovering from her knee surgery, every Tuesday and Thursday, I go and I walk with my mom up the block just to get her a little exercise. And this last time we were walking, I don't know how we got on the conversation, but I've been enjoying it. I've literally just been sitting and just listening to my mom talk. And again, I don't know how we got on this conversation, but my mother starts talking about bad mothers. She's talking about how I can't stand when a mother goes out the house with a chinchilla fur on and her child ain't got no coat on. She was like, that just irks my nerves, because if anybody gonna be cold, I'm gonna be cold. My baby ain't gonna be cold. The devil is a lie. Because when I became a mother, I made a decision that their life is more important than mine. And so mama reprioritizes. And no matter how old mama gets, and no matter how old you get, you are still her priority. Yes. And it's not that she wants to. I'll never forget, I remember my mom sharing with me how she sometimes can't sleep unless she knows I'm okay. And I couldn't get that at first, but I get it. She's been anatomically designed to be concerned with my well-being. And so instead of fussing with mama and fighting with mama and giving mama a hard time, no. Understand that she's been wired to be concerned with you. And the worst thing you can do is make her job harder than it needs to be. We bless mama for our success because she reprioritizes. Not only does she reprioritize, but a good mother roots for us. She roots for us. Now, that don't sound too impressive because anybody can root for you. Anybody can clap their hands. Anybody can say, go, you did it. But it's different when a mama does it. What do I mean? Bathsheba sees her son about to lose his throne, but she still believes he's worthy to sit on it. I need you to think about this. His brother Adonijah has literally set himself up to the place that everyone there is calling him king. Now she knows her son is supposed to be king, that he's supposed to be doing everything that's happening right now, but she's literally watching that throne get taken from her child. Yet in spite of seeing the throne get taken from him, she still believes that he's worth sitting on it. So she devises this entire plan to ensure that her son gets on the throne. Now, that's striking to me because ultimately what we're seeing is her son is losing, but she does not see a loser. And this brings me to my next thought. A good mother sees your losses, but she never sees you as a loser. She may see you struggling, but she never sees you as a struggle. She sees you frustrated, but she never sees you as frustration. She sees you losing, but she never sees you as a loser. And I don't know about you, but I've taken some losses in my life. But I'm so glad that no matter how many losses my mom has seen me go through, how many bad decisions she's seen me make, that she's never defined me by those things. That in spite of what she saw going wrong in my life, she still believed that I was right. No matter how many mistakes I made, she never saw me as a mistake. Is anybody glad this morning that though mama saw the worst of you, she still believed the best of you? And even though her son's throne is slipping away, she still believes he's worth sitting on it. Not only that, Solomon's not doing anything about it. He's literally watching this happen. She's watching her son watch his future go away. He's not doing anything kingly, but she still believes he should be king. Now that's striking to me because if he's not doing nothing kingly, we like to say it this way. If it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, then it must be a duck. That's the logic that we use. And so if it walks like a king and talks like a king, then it's a king. So if it ain't walking like a king and talking like a king, why does she still see a king? Well, she's not rooting for what he does. She's rooting for who he is. I'm so glad that my mom knew who I was in spite of what I did. There were things in my life that I did that were totally against who I was. But my mom never stopped believing in who I was. And most of us are here today because mom looked past what we did and still prayed to God about who we were. God, I know they out here acting crazy right now, but I know my baby ain't crazy. I know they running with these sort of folks, but I know my child ain't that type of person. I know they're engaging in these sort of things, but I know that ain't my child. That's not the baby that you showed me. I'm so glad my mom saw beyond what I did. And I know I'm preaching up here today, but Pastor Mike ain't always been preaching. But she still saw a preacher Even when I was doing everything except preaching. And many of you have that testimony as well, that when mama should have given up on you, she didn't, not because of what you did, but because of who you were. I'm going to tell you why it's different when my mama gives me an amen. I'm going to tell you why. Don't get me wrong. I love y'all amens. I do. Keep giving me amens. But when mama gives me an amen, here's the difference. Y'all are amening because I'm preaching good. Mama's amening because of who I'm becoming. And there's a difference. There's a difference. Anybody can cheer for me in the stands, but they're just cheering for me because I made a three-pointer. Mama's cheering for me because she sees my future and she sees me going towards it. And that's the difference. And watch this, even when I'm not going towards it, she's still going to celebrate me as that, because we serve a God who speaks those things that be not as though they are. I know you acting a fool. I know you're not being a good boy. I know you're doing everything except what a child of God should do, but I'm going to keep celebrating you as that thing. You are a strong young man. You are a beautiful young woman. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are more than a conqueror. I know you're acting like a knucklehead right now, but I'm not celebrating what you're doing. I'm celebrating who you're becoming, because a mother doesn't celebrate what you do, but who you are. Now, why would a mother do that, though? Well, what is it about a mother that she can see beyond what we do and celebrate who we are? Well, if you think about it, no one knows you better than your mom. Amen. I've made the foolish mistake to think that folks know me better than my mama. And I've come to realize after 34 years, don't nobody know me like my mama. I can fool a whole lot of y'all. I have yet to fool her. I've tried to fool my mama. I fail every time. She know. Now, she won't always say it, but she know when something's going on with me. She know. I can put on the biggest gap tooth smile I got, and she still know something going on. Why is that mothers know us so intimately? Well, again, I told you that her body literally programs her to be concerned with your well-being. But not only that, again, the body is readjusting, and everything in the body is being repurposed, reprioritized for your well-being. And so I've come to realize that the reason mom is my biggest fan is because mom is my biggest funding. Yes. Mom is my biggest fan because mom is my biggest funding. Everything I have came from my mom. Again, let's look back at the anatomy. Her kidneys literally stopped working for her to start working for me. Her body literally reprogrammed her and said, listen, we still gonna get rid of your ways, but we need to borrow these kidneys because I got to get some bad stuff out of his life. I got to get some bad stuff out of her life. Everything, her oxygen levels. Again, I started researching. A woman's oxygen levels go up, not for her, but it's like we got to make sure this baby breathing. Yeah. And so there's this intimate connection. My heart has literally beat inside of hers. Who knows me more intimately than that other than God? Yes. And so the reason a mom gives and gives and gives and gives is because she's been giving since I've been born. All of who I am has come through her. And so when you've invested that much into something, you ain't about to walk away from it. Let's see if I can make it plain. Any baseball fans in here? I'm not a baseball fan. Y'all don't pass my like basketball. But if you're a baseball fan, I won't consider you a real fan, a super fan, unless you're a fan of the Red Sox. The reason I say that is because the Boston Red Sox had an 86-year championship drought. For 86 years, they did not win a championship. Here's the irony, though. 86 years of them losing, their stands were still filled. 86 years of losing, they would still sell out of tickets. 86 years of losing, people were still in those stands, rooting for them, cheering for them. No matter what the weather was like, they were out there. What would cause someone to stick with a team for 86 years and they lose every year? I done spent too much money on these tickets. Whether they win, lose, or draw, I'm going to be out there. And I'm so glad that moms are like Red Sox fans. Pretty much pre-2004, because in 2004, they finally won. But if you're a Red Sox fan before 2004, you are just like a mama. Because a mama will see loss after loss after loss. But she keeps saying, I done put too much in you to walk away from you. I done spent too much money. I done cried too many nights. I done lost my summer body for you. I done gave too much for you to not become who I know you can become. And so we celebrate moms for our success because they're our biggest fans. And they're our biggest fans because they're also our biggest funders. That when no one else is willing to give us a chance, no matter how many times we disappoint mom, she welcomes us with open arms. When no one else believes a word we say, and we done lied to mama all these times, she still say, okay, baby, I believe you. No matter how many promises we make to her and break to her, she still has this expectation when we make a promise. Because she's given so much that she can't go to her grave and not see us become who we supposed to be. And this is why I celebrate mom for my success. And this is why I drive and I push so much. Definitely because I want to make God proud. But one of the things that has always fueled me is I want to make that woman back there proud. Because I know the job she worked that she didn't want to work to make sure I had what I need. I know the abuse she took that she didn't have to take just to make sure I never experienced some of that stuff. I know the sleepless nights, the times that she just wanted to nod off, but she stayed awoke. I'll never forget. I got my first concussion and my mama was a store manager. She worked hard and she stayed up all night to make sure I didn't go to sleep because she knew if I went to sleep, I might not wake up. Mothers spend too much. They invest too much into us to not see us become who God has promised us to be. We celebrate mothers because they reprioritize for us. We celebrate mothers because a good mother roots for us. But last but not least, a good mother rides for us. Yeah. A good mother rides for us. Now, for those of you who don't know this modern contemporary slang, when I say a mother rides for us, that means a mother goes hard in the paint for us. A mother throws hands for us. A mother will slap you silly for us. A mother will fight for us. A mother will spend all her money. A mother will go through every manager she got to go through. A mother fights for us. She rides for us. What do I mean? Bathsheba goes to Solomon's bedroom unsummoned. Now, that don't sound like an issue to y'all because y'all don't really understand history like that, so I'm gonna help you. The reason this is an issue is no one comes to the king unsummoned. To come to the king unsummoned, you could actually be killed. But this woman, this mother, this female who's concerned about the future of her son, she sees his future slipping away. She goes to the king unsummoned. That's amazing to me because, again, she knows the cost, but she still goes. She knows the risk, but she still goes. She knows she might not make it back, but she still goes because she'd rather die than to see her son lose his future. She'd rather lose it all than for him to lose anything. And so Bathsheba makes a decision that I don't care what it's going to cost me. I don't care how hard I got to fight. I don't care how high I have to go. I don't care how much I have to give. I don't care how much I got to cry. I don't care how much I have to spend. I refuse to let my son's future go. A mother rides for us. Again, I'm thinking about this thing. Why would a woman risk her own well-being? Why would she risk death just to make sure her son gets on the throne? What is it about this connection of motherhood that would drive a woman to put herself in danger, that would drive a woman to deprive herself of sleep, that would drive a woman to cry endlessly, that would drive a woman to forget herself and put us first, that would drive a woman to go to bed hungry to make sure our bellies is full? What makes a mother ride for us like this? Well, again, anatomically, you've been reprogrammed that everything you have is being used for someone else. And that investment is constantly being made. And then we come out of you. A mother creates a child. Now, again, don't get me wrong. Children come from God. They start as a spirit, but then that spirit gets put into mom and anatomically begins to take shape, and her body literally creates this thing, and this thing that she created comes out of her. A part of her comes out of her. There's a connection that's deeper than any connection we can ever know. Don't get me wrong. Man and woman coming together is a beautiful thing, but that connection between a child that comes out of a mother is different. It's different. It's different. Why is it different? Well, again, I created this. If I can make it plain, how many of you have ever had your child make you something? Like they've made you something out of clay, or they drew something for you. How many of you ever had your child buy something for you? They spend a little money on you. I'm willing to bet. If you lost what they bought for you, you wouldn't be as hurt as if you had lost what they made for you.
Yes.
And watch this. I'm willing to bet that they would be more mad about what they made for you being lost than what they bought for you.
Yes.
Why? Because it came out of them. I finally get why that sister made that song, "I'll Bust the Windows Out Your Car." It makes sense now. Brothers, I'm gonna help us out. The reason your baby mama borderline crazy sometimes is because you rejected the gift her body made for you.
Yes. Come on.
We brothers get mad if y'all don't eat the nasty food we cook for y'all. But we don't get that pain of when we reject the gift her body made for us. She literally gave up her bone structure, gave up her organ use, gave up her oxygen use, gave up everything within her to produce something for us. This gift that her body created in the form of a baby. And when a man rejects that, I'm not just rejecting what you gave me. I'm rejecting a part of you. The reason these mothers are so messed up when their sons are being gunned down in the streets, because you gunned down a part of me.
Yes.
You didn't just gun down some black man. You gunned down the gift my body created for this world.
Yes.
And I never got to see that gift come to its fulfillment because you didn't like what my body created. I started to preach Black Mothers Matter this morning, but I don't know if the world was ready for a whole sermon on that. So I'm going to just take this moment to say, Black Mothers Matter. And Black mothers have mattered for a long time. Can I go Bible? The Bible lets us know in Exodus chapter 1, if I'm not mistaken, that the children of Israel are in Egypt, and a king raises up that did not know Joseph. And he makes a decree because he's intimidated by what is coming out of the body of a black woman. What's coming out of a black woman is stronger than what he's ever seen. What's coming out of the body of a black woman is smarter than what he's ever seen. What's coming out of the body of a black woman is so much more amazing than anything he's ever seen that he gets intimidated by it. And he signs a decree, and there's an entire system. I'm preaching real good. An entire system is formed to destroy what is coming out of that black body. Literally, there is a genocide that is called, and they say when a woman gives birth, I'm preaching real good, when a woman gives birth, that you are to kill that baby if it's a boy. And this is why our women don't get the same treatment when they go to hospitals, and we have a higher mortality rate of black women because they are intimidated by what is coming out of your body. But that is a gift to the world. Whether they reject it, whether they accept it, it is your gift to the world. And an entire system is created to destroy what is coming out of the black woman. This is why we're marching. This is why we're protesting, because a system has been created to destroy what comes out of a black woman, even if they have to destroy the black woman in the process. A system is established where we're going to destroy. And this is how good God is. And this is why, listen, sisters, even if your black life don't matter to America, your black life matters to God, because God divinely intervenes. He sends some women who really don't even know the God of the Israelites, and they intercede on behalf of them, and they make sure that these boys are still living. They come up with an entire excuse. They say, King, these women, they give birth like nothing we've ever seen. By the time we get to it, the baby already out. Ain't nothing we can do to it. And the king, and instead of being turned around by this, he goes even harder. At that point, he says, throw them all in the river. What always interested me, I'll say that, what always interested me about that text, I always wonder, where were the men?
Yes.
These women are having their babies killed as they give birth to them. These women are having their babies thrown in a river. And I wonder, where were the men? And it reminds me of what Malcolm X says, the most unprotected being in the world is the black woman.
Yes.
But even when we don't protect you, I'm so glad God does. I'm so glad that when we don't have the strength, God does. When we don't have the resources, God does. And it is only by the grace of God that women still bear our children. I celebrate mothers for my success today because Mama rides for us. That if Mama has to break the law, Mama gonna break the law. That if Mama got to do jail time, Mama gonna do jail time. That, listen, if Mama got to go upstate, if Mama got to get in her car and drive cross country, Mama rides for us.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that Mama rides for us because Mama has come to the conclusion that, listen, you came out of me. And as my mama always threatened, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out this world. In other words, what she's saying is, no one else has the right to take you out of this world but me. No one else has the right to disrespect you but me. Why? Because I made you. You came out of me. I gave everything for you. I was watching, I think it was a Facebook video of this mother bear. And reading the comments, the people were so concerned because they thought this mother bear was about to die. Because this mother bear, who had two baby bears on her back, walked up on two Bengal lions. The lions start making a circle around the mama bear. Now the mama bear, she's just looking around. She still got her baby bears on her back. And these two tigers start attacking her. And folks are saying in the comments, oh my God, someone do something. Oh my God, she's not gonna make it. Oh my God, this mother's about to die. And then things change. This mama bear cocked her arm back and swung at one of them Bengal tigers. And that tiger went flying. And the other one jumped on her back and she swung around and swung her other paw. And he went flying. And this goes on. All this takes place in about maybe 2.5 minutes. This mama is just throwing hands. They biting at her and she just slinging them, throwing them. And she's doing all this, watch this, with two bears on her back. After these 2 minutes and 30 seconds, these Bengal tigers finally come to the conclusion that we just gonna be hungry today. And they run off. Mamas are like that mama bear.
Yes.
I don't care how much bigger it is. I don't care how much stronger it is. I don't care how smart it is. I don't care how long it's been here. If it's messing with my baby, I'm gonna ride. If I gotta leave it all here, I'm gonna leave it all here. And the amazing thing is, no matter how close they got to them babies, they never got to them. Every time they would come around her back, she'd swing that back and swing a paw. Every time they try to come above, she'll stand up and smack them down. A mama will ride for you. Because again, in her mind, no one has the right to touch you but her. No one has the right. And I say this to those mothers who are mourning this Mother's Day because their children were gunned down senselessly by a system that's been designed to take them out. I feel your pain. because no one has that right. They didn't give as much as you. They weren't there for those school meetings. They weren't there for those legal troubles. They weren't there for those games. They weren't there for those tournaments. They weren't there for those long hours at the office. They weren't there for the staying up late, helping them on their homework and their pride. They weren't there. And so I thank you. I thank you, Mom. I thank you for reprioritizing your life, for being the first person to ever put me first. We live in a society that will put you last in a heartbeat. If you say the wrong thing, if you do the wrong thing, if you smell the wrong way, they're ready to throw you away. But I'm so glad that I'm always number one in my mom's eye. That no matter how low I may go, she doesn't frown on what I do. She celebrates who I am. She roots for me, whether I'm winning or losing, because as far as she's concerned, it's not about what you do, it's about who you become. And I can only say that I've become who I am because she was less concerned about what I did and more concerned about the man I was going to come. And she rides for me. I was so proud yesterday as my mom hobbled with me over there to that event yesterday. It was me and Mama here. I know y'all is busy, it's Mother's Day weekend, but if nobody else gonna be here for that community event, my mama rode with me. Hobbled on across that, no cane too, just showing off. Hobbled on across that field, stepping up curbs and everything. Because Mama rides for us. She's my number one fan because she's always been my number one funding. And so I encourage you today, celebrate Mama. Why? Because you're her number one, so she should be your number one. Don't get me wrong, I know when a man gets married, leaves and cleaves, but there should always be a special place. Always have a special place for Mama. Root for Mama, not just on Mother's Day, but celebrate Mama as much as you can. I tell my mom from time to time I'm proud of her, because I really am. What I admire about my mom, and I'm closing here, is my mom is a big proponent of education. She is. Always wanted to go to college. And growing up, that opportunity slipped away from her. No matter how old my mama got, she still got that degree. She still got that degree. She reprioritized. She said, you know what, I'm gonna make sure my son get his schooling. But after he get his, I'm getting mine. And I encourage that mother out there, it's not too late to chase your dreams. It's not too late to chase your goals, your ambitions. I know you had to put it on hold for your son. I know you had to put it on hold for your daughter, but it's not too late. It's not too late. And mamas continue to ride. As DMX would say, ride or die. And that's what a mother is. A mother is a ride or die. She gonna ride with you or she gonna die for you. And so don't cause Mom to die for you because you're ignoring her check engine light.